Παναθηναϊκός άλλαξε τον τρίτο του προπονητή τους τελευταίους 10 μήνες. Μετά την εποχή Ιβάν Γιοβάνοβιτς, ο Φατιχτερίμ ανέλαβε το δύσκολο έργο να οδηγήσει τον Παναθηναϊκό στο πρωτάθλημα. Στη συνέχεια, ο υπηρεσιακός Χριστός Κόντης, ο οποίος όχι ότι δεν μπαίνει στην μέτρηση, απλά είχε αυτήν την ταμπέλα του υπηρεσιακού προπονητή για 2 παιχνίδια. Στη συνέχεια, ανέλαβε το καλοκαίρι ο Ντιέγκο Αλόνσο και τώρα ο Ρουί Βιτόρια. Ο Ρουί Βιτόρια, ο οποίος έρχεται και επιστρέφει στους πάγκους, έρχεται στον Παναθηναϊκό και επιστρέφει στους πάγκους μετά το Φεβρουάριο του 2024, όπου αποτέλεσε παρελθόν από την εθνική ομάδα της Αιγύπτου. Ο Ρουί Βιτόρια είναι ένας προπονητής εγνωσμένης αξίας, με τα καλά του χρόνια στην Μπενφίκα να αποτελούν σημείο αναφοράς στην καριέρα του. Θα προσπαθήσουμε, μαζί με τον καλό συνάδελφο από την A Bola, Νούνο Τραβασός, να σκιαγραφίσουμε το προφίλ του νέου τεχνικού του τριφυλιού, το τι μπορεί να προσφέρει, τα σημαντικότερα κομμάτια της προπονητικής του καριέρας, φυσικά υπό το πρίσμα του δύσκολου έργου που έχει μπροστά του να επαναφέρει τον Παναθηναϊκό στον δρόμο των επιτυχιών. So, Nuno, good evening, and we are grateful to have you here. Thank you for your time. We want to talk about Panathinaikos' new trainer, Rui Vitoria. Can you outline for us his profile and the highlights of his career?
Hello, once again. Rui Vitoria is a coach that made his way through from the lower divisions of Portuguese football, coaching teams like Fatima that was in third division first and then in second division, with him from third division to second division. He worked also at Benfica youth teams. He coached Benfica under 19 team at the beginning of his career, and then he started climbing very quickly, but a solid climbing, working with teams as Passos de Ferreira. That is a small team in Portugal, but he started putting Passos de Ferreira near European places. After that, he went to Vitoria Sport Club, Vitoria Guimarães, as we call it. Is a team that more often plays in European competitions, but not a consistent club, a consistent team. And with Rui, it was a consistent team. Rui Vitoria achieved one Portuguese Cup with Vitoria. That is Vitoria's biggest achievement. And due to that performance, he achieved to coach Benfica, Portuguese's biggest club, and the club that he supported as a child. So it was very special for him, very emotional. And the conditions were not easy because Benfica was winning at that point, but the heritage from Jorge Jesus, the previous coach, was difficult. Jorge left after winning, and he coached biggest rivals, Sporting, next. So Rui Vitoria had to coach Benfica with Jorge Jesus coaching the rival. It was not easy for him, but he achieved 2 titles, and I think Rui achieved good performance and got also always good results in every team he coached. Maybe except now, the last years were not so famous, especially in Spartak Moscow. It was a bad experience, and now at Egypt and the national team was also a bad experience for him. But in most clubs he coached, he got good results. He got good achievements.
Could you describe us the most prolific and successful years of his coaching career were at Benfica? Could you describe us the most precious achievements, the legacy that he left at Benfica, and if he is a flexible coach or more persistent tactics about player selection and the format he chose?
Yeah, he is versatile, and Benfica is a good example. Because when he arrived at Benfica had a strong heritage from Jorge Jesus, as I said, several years playing the same way with Jorge. And when Rui arrived, he was smart enough to understand that he had to give up a little bit of his ideas, of what he was doing at Vitoria, his tactics at Vitoria, and he adapted to what Benfica was doing. Sometimes he was accused a little bit of copying at Benfica was what he got from Jesus. But in my opinion, he was smart because he understood that the team was used to play in some kind of way, and he got that job, and he kept the same methodology, Benfica, and that was the reason why he was champion in his first year, because he was smart enough to take advantage of the work done before.
According to your point of view, why he took the decision to go working at Al Nasser, Saudi Arabia, Spartak Moscow, Russia, the national team of Egypt? Is there a specific reason that he chose to redeem his legacy at Benfica at this lower level, I think?
Yeah, because that's mainly because of the way he left from Benfica, in good relationship with the fans and with the board. But in that year, in that last year at Benfica, 2018-19, the results were bad. The previous year, he was second place in the league. It was not good. And especially in that year, 2017-18, he was second in the league, as I said. Especially what was really bad was the performance at the Champions League. Benfica was last at the group stage, lost 5-0 to Basel from Switzerland, for example. That European campaign was really bad and really harsh to Vitoria. And Rui, at the previous years, achieved good campaigns at Champions League, quarterfinals, and last 16 in the previous years. That season was really bad. Second at the championship. He still continues from the 2018-19, but he got a sequence of bad results, and he leaves at the middle of the season. And after Benfica, when someone coaches Benfica or Sporting or FC Porto, the Portuguese market is more or less closed for that coach. Almost every coaches after that point they go abroad. They go to other countries. Rui Vitoria had difficult to find a good European coach. So the opportunities were more peripheral leagues or peripheral countries with good financial conditions that were difficult for him to get in Europe. So that was the main reason to coach in Saudi Arabia, in Russia, and even in Egypt.
I have in my mind, and I can mention some players like Lindelof, Renato Sanchez, Semedo, Guedes, that Rui Vitoria gave him the tools and the experience to be extremely useful on the field. I remember that at his third year in Benfica, Benfica made more than 100 million euros in sales. Do you think, Nuno, he can follow the same path in Panathinaikos?
Yeah, I think so. He is a coach that likes to players like him a lot, so that's important. And he likes to. He has no problems to put young players on the field. So that's important for especially for clubs that are good youth teams, that are good academies. I think in Portugal we have that a lot. Benfica is one of the biggest world academies, of course. So I must be honest, in my opinion, the Greek clubs, and especially Panathinaikos, we're talking about academies, are not at the same point that the Portuguese academies, I think. From far, it's my opinion. So I don't really know if Panathinaikos Academy had good young players from the under-19 team that Rui Vitoria can bet and can put playing and became good would sell to bigger European clubs. I don't know that reality, but I know that Rui Vitoria is a coach that players like a lot. It's one of his strongest points, the relation he gets with the players, with the squad. That's one big issue. And the other good prospect is the way he bets on young players. He doesn't have problem with that. For him, it's the same a player with 19 years old or with 34 years old. It's the same. He recognizes quality and work rate. He is fair at that point, and that's also why players like him, because it's a fair guy and an honest guy.
I didn't ask you the question not only for the academies, but because Panathinaikos has two players, Fotis Ioannidis and Giorgos Vagiannidis. I think you know them because Sporting made a great effort the last summer to fulfill the ad of Fotis Ioannidis, and Braga had in their list Giorgos Vagiannidis. So, do you think these two players will have a greater future with Rui Vitoria?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's a good coach, a very good coach. I think he can do a good job at Panathinaikos. I believe from far. I think that Panathinaikos maybe is not in a good moment at this point. Of course, if it was a good moment, Diego Alonso was not dismissed, of course. But I think the squad has quality. The Greek league has quality, and I think there are some players, and especially those you talked about, like Ioannidis, that Sporting wanted a lot, of course, to be an alternative to Victor Gyökeres here at Portugal. And I think Panathinaikos there are some players that with Rui Vitoria can achieve another moment, another position, and maybe reach the interest of some big European clubs. And normally, in other clubs he worked, especially in Benfica and Vitoria, Guimarães, he did that job. Al Nassr is a different reality, and Spartak also it was a different context because he had a lot of problems. He had a sports director that resigned at the middle of a game. There were problems with the president's wife. There was a big confusion at Spartak, so that's not a very good example of what Rui Vitoria can do. But I think he has done good jobs in almost every team, every club or national team that in which he worked.
Working for Panathinaikos the recent time, he should handle big pressure effectively from the press, from the fans. How does he react in high-stakes situations? He have the patience.
Yeah, well, I think he had that experience. Benfica is the same. I think we can compare the pressure of a coach at Benfica and the pressure he had at that point for the reasons I explained previous. I think the pressure at Benfica can be compared with the pressure he will get at Panathinaikos. So I think he is well prepared for that. It won't be something new for him. I think he and all his technical team from many years are prepared from that. And I think you will listen a sentence that he uses several times. He says several times. At least in Portugal, he used to say several times. I don't know if he will say in another language, but he used to say many times that if it was easy, it was not for us. Says that a lot.
I understand. Could you explain us for his tactics, the formation he prefers? He goes more than 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. He plays with three defenders in the defense. Could you describe us some things about his tactics?
He had changed a lot during his time because I think he has that intelligence to understand what the squad offers what he can do with the squad. For example, at Vitória Guimarães, he used to play many times in 4-3-3 with three midfielders and three guys up front. And when he arrived at Benfica was playing 4-4-2 many years with Jorge Jesus. And Rui Vitoria had at the beginning he tried to play also 4-3-3, but then he understood that Benfica the Benfica rule was to play with two guys up front, and he changed that and with good results, and he kept that for the years after that. So I think he used to adapt to the squad, especially between 4-4-2 and 4-3-3. These are the tactics that Rui Vitoria prefers.
Nuno, can you walk us through his one typical week of match preparations? What Rui Vitoria used to do, what Rui Vitoria used to say to his players? It will be very useful to have a report from you for this matter.
His focus is always very, very team-based, not very individual. Of course, coaches talk individually with the players. They prepare the players at that point also. But Rui Vitoria focus is always very much on the team. Of course, he is a coach that likes to have his identity and establish a way that the team plays, of course. But he's also a coach that is intelligent, understanding what the opponent team will give, what the game requires, and adjusting the strategy for that game. So we have some coaches that are mainly focused on what their team can do, what's their strategy. Rui Vitoria also thinks a lot on what the other team will do, and sometimes he likes to adapt their team to the other guy's team. And sometimes in Benfica, especially in Champions League, Benfica had a strategy more defensive or more cautious against big teams from Europe, and those were games that Rui Vitoria prepared very well, and that worked very, very well for him at Benfica.
Panathinaikos has 15 years to reach the champions in Greece, and for this matter, do you think this is a good choice for Rui Vitoria? This is a good choice for Panathinaikos? This contract.
I think so. Of course, there are a lot of coaches on the market. It's a big world, but I think that from what I know from Panathinaikos, from the perspective, I think that Rui Vitoria is a good coach for the club, for the Greek league, because it's a league that in Portugal we follow, that there are always many players going to Greece, and always some players from Greece to Portugal. So it's a league that we know a lot about, and I believe Rui Vitoria knows Greek league a lot. So for Panathinaikos, I think it's a good option. It's someone that knows what is to be champion, knows what it's to coach on Champions League, to fight for titles. In the last years, that's what Rui Vitoria has done. And for him, I think it's also a very good opportunity for that reason. He has the opportunity to work again on Europe, on a big European club, a club with a huge history, a club that fights for titles, that always wants to play European football. So I think for him it's also a very good opportunity.
What qualities Rui Vitoria does he look for in his coaching staff, and how he creates a collaborative environment? I informed you that Rui Vitoria announced his partners. They are Mr. Sergio Botelho, the assistant manager, the Arnaldo Teixeira, the assistant manager also, the Luis Esteves, goalkeeper trainer, the Mr. Walter Diaz, tactician analyst, and Jose da Paz Pereira, the trainer that for physical conditions. Do you have some info about these guys?
Yeah, almost all of them. I should say that with Rui Vitoria, there's very, I would say, there's a relation of solid confidence and trust between the technical team, because some coaches change a lot. The guys they work with, they go from one club to another and they leave some assistants there and they find another new assistants. No, with Rui Vitoria, the team is basically the same from the beginning. Arnaldo works with him many years from Fatima. I think it was the first club where they worked together. And Sergio Botelho was Rui Vitoria player at Fatima, and after that he became an assistant coach from Rui Vitoria. And so that shows the level of confidence and trust they have between them. Very strong confidence. And you have a good example, because when Rui Vitoria went from Vitória de Guimarães from Benfica, he couldn't take Rui Esteves with him because Benfica already had a goalkeeper coach. He couldn't take Rui Esteves with him, but he promised Rui Esteves that once he had the opportunity, we will hire him back. And when he arrived at Benfica had a great goalkeeper coach. But after 1 year, Vitória was champion at Benfica, at other status at the club, would ask different things to the board. And after 1 year, the goalkeeper coach that Benfica had went to another club, and Rui Vitoria got Rui Esteves from Vitória 1 year after he made the move. So that shows the level of confidence and trust they have between them, and they never fall down from each other.
Nuno, could you analyze us his tactical approach for mid-level games and the derbies? Because in Greece, Rui Vitoria, we will face AEK, we will face PAOK, we will face Olympiacos, huge derbies for us in Greece. But his first match will be at Volos next Sunday against the local team, which is a mid-level team. So tell us some things about his approach for the derbies and for the mid-level games.
I think I will give Benfica example. I think the overall picture he left at Benfica, that at the big games, the derbies at Portugal, the classic games with Sporting FC Porto, and the Champions League games, the big challenges, the team was very well prepared. For that reason, I referred previously, the way that Benfica kept his philosophy, but also was able to understand the opponent and to find the better way to emulate the good points from the opponents and to explore the weakness from the opponent. That was the big picture. Against other teams, against teams from middle of the table, against weakest teams, sometimes Benfica struggled. Sometimes Benfica had difficulties. That was the main challenge from Vitoria. There was sometimes some periods that Benfica was not very wonderful to see. The team had difficulties to be to show like a club like Benfica has to be an authority on the field against weakest teams in Portugal, and sometimes that wasn't the reality.
And one last question. According to your point of view, the crucial parameters that will lead Mr. Vitoria the success for Panathinaikos, which are the patience for the club, the patience for the fans, the results?
I think he has that experience, so I think he will be very calm, and he will be not pressured by the lack of time. He knows that all coaches don't have time. They have always the suitcase ready to go to another country to be fired. They are always ready. But he has big experience. As I said, he knows what's to be champion. He will start working at Panathinaikos. We are in November, right? So the season is going fast. So his main concern will be to find stability, to find a strong 11, and more or less with 2 or 3 places that he will find out in the first matches, but a strong base, and most of all a team solid playing together, a group. After that, in more up front, then Rui Vitoria will try to get, as we say in Portugal, an artistic note, to play better, to have good exhibitions. That will stay for later. Of course, if possible, Rui Vitoria will try to have this now. But his main concern will, and that he's good at that. His main concern will be to have a strong team. Don't suffer many goals. Maybe we will have 1-0, 2-1 games like that. That Panathinaikos don't make mistakes, wins the matches, and gets more confidence and more stability to after that increase the exhibition level.
Nuno, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
It was a pleasure.